It's your world. I've long believed there's a big difference between tolerance and respect. We tolerate things that aren't comfortable, like lots of mosquitoes when we want to go outside on a hot summer's night wearing bug spray, or aren't convenient, like when there's road work or subway maintenance and it takes 3 times as long to get to school or work. Other people, other cultures, other countries shouldn't simply be tolerated. They should be respected, provided they are respectful of all people, including girls and our shared planet. We should be able to disagree with one another without dehumanizing one another. U.S. Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan once said, "Everyone is entitled to his own opinion, but not his own facts." So even if we disagree with one another, it's important to recognize what the facts are, like around climate change or the barriers to going to school around the world. It's also important we know what various opinions and beliefs are, like around how best to combat climate change, or ensure kids get a good education, so we can make up our own minds about what we think the right answer is, whatever the question or challenge. We can, and should, respectfully disagree with others who have reached different answers from ours, even if we want and try to convince them of our point of view. This is so important because we're all equally valuable and we're all connected to one another. Ideas as old as time, but aspirations were far from reaching anywhere in practice, including in the United States. Did you notice any similarities across the stories you read of changemakers? Between the grandmothers with their solar panels in India and William with his backpack food program in North Carolina, between Haley's healthy cooking and Catherine's pet network, they all work in partnership with family, friends, and organizations close by or with NGOs and businesses across the world to help people, communities, and our world be healthier. Although I've not used many quotes or aphorisms, a fancy word for sayings, in this book, I can't help but include one of my favorites here. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. It's from an African proverb and is a truth I have seen and experienced throughout my life. We get more done when we work together, and working together helps us support each other so we don't get discouraged by the size of a challenge or when what we try first doesn't work, and so that we try again. We'll also get more done if we have a sense of where we want to go. What makes you angry? What do you think isn't right or fair or just? What most inspires you? What do you want to see more of in the world? The answers to those questions for you may be different than my answers, your parents' answers, or your friends' answers. And that's more than okay. Whatever your answers are, that's what I hope you'll tackle in your community or in our world. It might be something we've talked about in this book, or it might not be, and that's okay too. Everything I write about in this book I think is important. Otherwise, I wouldn't have included it or written the book. But as I said at the beginning, it definitely doesn't come close to covering all of the challenges we face in our world or all the solutions that we need even to the challenges I write about. We have a saying in my family. Yes, already, another saying. It's better to get caught trying. It means that if we think we can make a difference in an area we care about, we have to at least try, even if, and maybe especially if, it's not clear that we'll succeed. I'm trying to get caught trying with this book, ultimately trying to empower you with information and inspiring stories. I hope you'll all get caught trying too, and share your change-making stories on itsyourworld.com. When I was in 5th or 6th grade, I started cutting up the plastic rings often used in 6-packs of soda, gluing them to brightly colored construction paper, purple was my favorite, and handing them out to my parents, grandparents, and grandparents' neighbors in a one girl campaign to raise awareness about the dangers that plastic six-pack rings posed to marine wildlife around the world. I learned about that from a book, 50 Simple Things Kids Can Do to Save the Earth. Around the same time, I learned that climate change and global warming likely posed a far greater risk to marine wildlife than uncut plastic rings did. But that didn't mean I stopped cutting up plastic rings. Not at all. I realized if I wanted to do everything I could to save our wildlife and our planet, I had to do smaller everyday things like cutting up plastic rings, and also work for big changes, like advocating for cleaner and more efficient forms of energy. I still think that's true. When I was reading about India before my trip with my mom in 1995, I found this quote, and the last one I'll use, from Gandhi. "The future depends on what we do in the present." I believed that when I was a teenager, and I believe it even more strongly now. If only because I have 20 years of the past between then and today. The future is beginning, and if we want a more equal, more healthy, and more sustainable world, we all have to get going.